So the title of this video is not clickbait. I had an interesting conversation with one of my trusted local lenders this morning about a program that is offering grant money for first-time homebuyers in Massachusetts. So what I wanted to do is go over the program, what are the requirements, what are the benefits, how do you get the money, who's the money for, and where is the money coming from. So for starters, the program is being sponsored by the Wider Home Path Foundation. Now, this is a foundation that actually has a pretty broad coverage area all over the country, several areas all over the country, and their goal is to help those in need. It says the Wider Home Path Foundation is grounded in responding to America's history of restricting access to safe, quality, and affordable land, housing, and other essential sustainable resources for African Americans and those facing a similar plight. So their goal is to try to get people into housing and to help with the affordable housing issue, big issue in this country. So part of what they're doing is they are teaming up with local lenders. Embrace Home Loans is one of the first in this area to actually team up with the Wider Home Path Foundation to offer this grant. So it's available for everyone in Massachusetts, and I want to go over what the specifics are on this program. So first off, so the money is coming from the Wider Home Path Foundation in conjunction with the Embrace Home Loans. So Embrace Home Loans had to go through a process to get approved with Wider Home Path. Not every lender is being able to, offers this grant. This is something specific to Embrace Home Loans. Now, the money that is available is a grant, and a grant is money that you do not have to pay back. It is a gift from the foundation to the first-time homebuyer. The amount of money is up to $10,000, which is 3% of the purchase price or $10,000. So it's up to $10,000, and they're going to take the lesser amount, 3% of the purchase price or $10,000. So if you're buying a $300,000 house, you're going to get $9,000. If you're buying a $400,000 house, you're going to get $10,000. It is available for any first-time homebuyer in Massachusetts. So regardless of where you live in the state of Massachusetts, you qualify for this program. Specifically, first-time homebuyers. You have to be a first-time homebuyer. Now, the loan can be used with any conventional loan, FHA, VA, or USDA loan. However, it cannot be used with mass housing programs. Mass housing is completely separate. These are going to be geared towards loans that are available outside of Massachusetts. Now, the qualifying properties is pretty broad. It can be single-family, condominium, or 1 to 4 multifamily units. So if you're a first-time homebuyer and you want to get into a 2-family, a multifamily, and live in one side and rent the other, you can take advantage of this grant money to get your foot in the door on a multifamily unit. So that is pretty great because a lot of these grant programs only apply to the single family units, and they don't apply to multifamilies and sometimes don't apply to condominiums. Now here is the super important part of the grant, and that is that it has income limits. And the income limit is going to depend on the town. So what you need to do is you'll need to find out what the area median income is for the town that you're buying in, and then look at, based on how many people are in your household, it has to be, there's a certain criteria for based on the number of people. So if there's only one person, then it has to be less than or equal to 80% of whatever that area median income is for that particular town. 2 people is going to be, less than or greater to 100%, 3 people, 110%, 4 people, 115%. So you've got some flexibility, obviously, as your family grows, but you want to look again at the area median income for each particular town. So the good news is that it applies to every town in Massachusetts. A lot of these grant programs are specific to certain areas. And so there was the DREAMS program that was essentially around the Boston area. There were some similar programs on the South Shore. But this is all because because of the fact that it's widely based across Massachusetts, that's a great opportunity. However, you do need to look at the income limits. The other qualifying item is the total amount of assets that you have in your home. So assets would be any cash savings minus your retirement. So they don't include 401ks, IRAs, anything of that nature. So they're going to look at what your total assets are, basically how much cash you have on hand, and it's going to be based on the entire household. So you need to have a total asset, not including retirement, of less than or equal to 15% of the purchase price. And that's going to include everybody in your household, regardless of who is applying. So if you have an in-law that's going to be living with you, but you're going to be applying on your own, or you and your significant other are going to be applying, it doesn't matter. It's everybody that's living in that household. They look at the total amount of money everybody has for that household. And again, that's pretty significant. 15% of a purchase price. I mean, you're talking, for $45,000 on a $300,000 purchase. In my experience, a first-time home buyer that's looking for down payment assistance is not typically going to have in excess of $45,000 sitting in the bank. So I think this is a reasonable requirement, for sure. The other part of this is that they are requiring a home buyer's education course. This is pretty standard, for anyone that's receiving any type of assistance, free money, grants. They almost always require some sort of a class that you need to attend. This particular situation, this particular grant, they're actually requiring you to not only take several classes before you close on the property, but they're also requiring that you take 2 to 3 classes after you close. So I think that's actually a really great thing, because a lot of these programs will focus in on getting the home buyer into the property, and then the home buyer moves into the property, they're a first-time home buyer, and they don't know what's next. And maybe the mortgage payment comes and they don't know, they're kind of taken back, and they're trying to juggle the electricity and gas bills and all this. And to have some guidance after the fact, I think is real smart, and it demonstrates the Wider Home Path Foundation, what their goal is, and it's not just getting people in homes, but it's getting people on a better path. Maybe people that would not have that available to them otherwise. So you'll need to take those classes. It's unclear now on what will be required for online versus in person. I know that there will be both offered, but I don't know yet whether you have to take any in-person classes or you can take them all online. That's something that is still a question mark that remains to be vetted out. So once you take the classes, then you can apply for the loan. Now, here's not apply for the loan, but apply for the grant. Now, here's the other thing is that you can't apply for the grant until you secure a property. So I'm going to jump down a couple steps here. So you need to secure a property before applying. So what you can't do is you can't apply for the grant to see if you get the grant before you find a property and put that under contract, because this is a grant situation where the funds, it's a continually replenishing fund that they are expecting to last about 6 to 12 months, but it's not limitless. So they are not going to reserve that grant money for you without knowing that there's a closing shortly thereafter. So unfortunately, what you'll need to do is you'll meet with your Embrace Home Loan rep, get pre-approved. They will look at your credentials, look at your financials, and give you some guidance on whether you'll qualify for that grant. And then once you make an offer, you need to get the pre-approval before you make an offer. Once you make an offer on a home, get the offer accepted, then you can start the process with applying for the grant. Now, when you're doing that, oftentimes, you buying that house is going to depend on getting that grant money. And that'll be important, to talk to your agent, to make sure that that's communicated to the seller, to make sure that they understand that that's part of this process. In my conversations with my lender, I had asked whether we need to have a separate contingency on whether, the home mortgage contingency, the standard home mortgage contingency, whether that's enough, or do we need to add a separate contingency? Personally, I would rather not add two separate contingencies. It tends to muddy the waters with the seller and makes things a little bit more complicated than they need to be. Again, those are the questions that, I'm waiting to get some answers from to find out whether that, how we approach that. But the bottom line is that you can't apply for the grant until you actually secure a property. Then you can go through the process. The closing time frame, going a little out of order here, but the closing time frame is about 45 to 60 days. So you're not looking at a quick close. The normal time frame for Massachusetts is about 45 days. A quick close could be 30 days if you have a lender that's moving along very quickly. This will definitely not be the case, because in order to get to the process of being able to submit your mortgage, you need to get approval from the grant board. So what happens is you get your property, you secure the property, get your offer get the property under contract. Then you meet with your Embrace Home Loan rep and submit your grant application. Once you submit your grant application, and you can also submit your mortgage application at the same time, your grant application then goes to Wider Home Path Foundation, the committee that handles all the approval for these grants. They will then review your file and look at all your credentials and determine whether you're a candidate for this grant money. Now, assuming that all the boxes are checked and you meet all the income qualifications based on the town and so forth, it should be pretty easily approved, but still you can't go forward with the mortgage process until you get that, what that grant money is going to be there. So it's subject to the committee approval. Once you get the committee approval, then you can move forward. And then the last thing is that, I had asked about the longevity of this loan or this grant. And as I mentioned earlier, there is a pool of funds that is replenished regularly. So, Wider Home Path Foundation is saying that there is regular money supporters that are constantly making donations to this fund to help replenish and have that money readily available. And they're anticipating at least 6 to 12 months. So different than the DREAMS program in Massachusetts, where that actually consisted of money from the COVID pandemic that came to the state, that that was a pool of money that ultimately had an expiration date. This is a little different. This is different because of the fact this is an ongoing fund. So the money should be there for some time. Don't know. That could change tomorrow. Who knows? I would say that, based on the timing of this video, we don't know for certain, but what they're telling us is, a good 6 to 12 months, the money should be there. So all in all, this looks like a fantastic opportunity for a first-time homebuyer to get their foot in the door. It is going to require some paperwork. It is going to require a lot of patience, and for certain, leaning on your Embrace Home Loan rep to answer those questions. Now, I have a rep for the Plymouth area, and for if you need a recommendation, reach out to me and I can connect you with John Harrington over there, or any one of the terrific loan officers they have in their office. But if you're not in Massachusetts, if you're not in the Plymouth area, you're out in Western Mass or up towards Boston, just reach out to me, shoot me a quick message, and I'll connect you with with someone that's in a branch up in that area. Now, this looks like a great program, great opportunity to help first-time home buyers get their foot in the door. So if you want some information about how to buy a home specifically in 2023, please check out my video that I just dropped on the 5 tips for home buying in 2023. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.